Watching news at Prime. All right, let's take you back now to one of our leading stories, the murder of popular DJ Warras, and we're rejoined by the Johannesburg Community Safety MMC, Dr. Mgcini Tshwaku. Mr. Tshwaku, good evening to you once again. Let's quickly wrap up our conversation. And I was asking you before we lost you whether you are aware of DJ Warras, who we understand also had a security company. He reportedly ran a private security company. Do you know whether he was securing buildings on behalf of the city? Basically, did he have a contract with the city to do this kind of work?
No, Cole, he did not have any contract with the city at all. We don't have any companies or anything that security companies that are involved in evicting people in the building. If you want to evict individuals, you go and get a court order, then that court order is sent to the SAPS. So the SAPS will do a joint operation, a JOC, where all stakeholders will come into we're all going to be together in terms of the SAPS, your JMPD, your POPs, everyone. So they will be there, and there will be a date given that we're going to do evictions. But what we are gathering at this point in time is a developing story, as in saying that, this just happened. So the guys are on the ground. I'm getting some reports as well, because I said to you that we need to ask questions as we investigate what is happening, who is there, and what is the motive. So we're asking ourselves, what does DJ Warras, what was he doing in the downtown city of Johannesburg? Who is he? What there's a killing, is there someone looking for him, and all those things. So we believe that there was he was sort of helping some building owners on who their buildings are hijacked, and all of that. So these are stories, these are statements that are being given at this point in time, but we're busy confirming them. If you just allow me to this up until late today or early in the morning, we should be having in terms of what was been happening, what is a linkage of him, and in terms of the building that is actually happening there, and all of that. So we believe that it was a company that was owned by his father, late father, something of that nature, and he's been very active in terms of assisting building owners to reclaim those, the buildings into this inner city. So in the cases that we've seen, Kolani, so far, at some point is that once you become active and, there's a competition on the building in terms of, reclaiming them and people owning them and all of that, and these hijackers. So once they see that their bread is going to be taken away, they will start to follow you and do all those kind of things. On our side, it gets very different because we are law enforcement officers. We do our groundwork first. We get intelligence, and then we really deal with it, and we start plotting the issues, and then we reclaim. We have reclaimed some of the buildings in the city. We know that there are those ones which are privately owned, and of course that the owners are waiting for the alternative accommodation. Yeah. So if you can just give us a bit of time, Kolani, this is something that is developing. I can get you a proper, I just got now off of a call from another person that actually knew DJ Warras quite well in terms of the involvement in the reclaiming and assisting owners in terms of reclaiming of those buildings, like court cases, and also maybe working with SAPS and joint. So I want to check his operation that he's done with SAPS and JMPD and get in terms of on this particular building, what has been happening and all of that.
Yeah, all right. I'm glad you're able to try and clear this up, although, as you say, information is still trickling in, and so we cannot talk from a factual basis, at least for the time being. Finally, therefore, talking about the hijacking of buildings. We know that there have been many of those in the city of Johannesburg, and you have been unraveling this slowly, but there has been traction. How much work would you say has been done in this regard? If you were to give me a number, perhaps, how many buildings are still hijacked, and what is the figure you're working with?
So the privately owned building, the public owned buildings, they are sitting at about 35 buildings on our side as the city. And then So we've reclaimed about 6 of those at this point in time. The others are coming through because remember, Kolani, the only thing that we can clean those buildings, there's no issues. It's just that human settlement, both in the city, province, and national, there's been some work being done, but we still have to track because it's on their side to really relocate people who are on those buildings. The hijackers, Kolani, is the people who are finding people who are staying there, and then they just start to claim the building and take rent.
Yeah.
And then on the privately owned buildings, you look at about 500 plus, and then those are the privately owned buildings. The council is passing in the first council we're going to be sitting. I've seen a bad building strategy that is there. I think my colleagues, they will confirm, and the opposition parties. There is a committee sitting with the COO that is dealing with the bad buildings out there, and what they are looking at is also private sector coming in, and also what they are working on now. I know that I think the few will be cleaned up. For example, the Florence building, the one, if you remember, 4 people died.
Yeah.
So the people who are there, they need to be taken. If you can we take the people who are staying there and relocate them into different accommodation, and we take the building and clean it up and ensure that it's secure, it's got a security, and people are paying. So that is what is actually happening in Golani. And they are working on that. So where it becomes a problem or it becomes dangerous is that when Mgcini, let's say myself, I identify a building and I say, look, people are staying there, and I ask them, who are you paying this rent to? They say, no, we're paying to Joburg or the city. And they just say, no, you are going to pay this rent, the protection fee. Then I'll start collecting money, let's say for the next 6 months, because you're collecting in those buildings anywhere between 150,000 and 300,000 a month. And then what we'll do is that I'll get the word will go on the ground saying that there is a person who's collecting in Florence building. And then I'll say, look, we can do better on our side. Then we go ourselves, and a syndicate said, no, we're going to go there and tell the people that they're no longer going to be paying to Mgcini, they're going to pay to Golan. And then after that, that's a tough war now between myself and those people. That is what is really actually happening. So we believe that this is what is, when you start entering that, because I will tell you, when we'll still again, maybe tomorrow or something, people who have passed on, there's another Italian guy, and there's another guy as well. He was operating in Bloemfontein. They shot him because he was operating on those buildings. Another Italian man who was working with some of the local guys in JP. He was shot as well. Yeah. So there are that syndicate that is there at the periphery, of which I know that SAPS and JMPD are working on those things there. But this one will be the motive. If you start being active and evicting people, and you are working on those buildings, and you talk to the owners and all of that, then you need to ensure that your security is tight.
Okay.
And whether you're going to approach the building, you should be okay. You should ensure that the security is proper.
Mgcini Tshwaku, thank you very much for your time tonight. He is the MMC for Safety and Security in the city of Johannesburg.